explosive breaking news within the hour. It's all over every news site in Canada, throughout the USA. Absolute and undeniable. Every single economist, all of them. Canada, you're down in the toilet. Doesn't matter what province, does not matter. Our economy has shrunk 1.6% in one quarter, quarter two. Official results in today, Friday, released just within this hour. Pour through it, folks. A loss, an absolute loss of 27% of our normal exports to the United States of America. Gone. All country investment down 10%. Much higher for the United States. I have to go through it intensely. I think it's probably close to 4 times that of the rest of the world, as it was substantial in the first quarter, just USA. But as you all watched, all of our major trading partners outside of China, as Canada aligned itself with China, everybody else, all our major trading partners, European Union, Japan, South Korea, ditch us. No investment. We're down 10%, all countries. And when we lose China, and it's coming, you saw the school deal with Trump. He's taking all the Canadian students from China and India. You're going to see, as China leads India in BRICS, China's going to go through it. At least they will fall once they see China move on from Canada to the United States, as everybody else has. This is epic. It puts us into absolute recession on a teeter-totter. Again, this is just the results of quarter two, much of which was only decided within the last 4 weeks. You look at July, think about quarter three. You can base everything that you see from quarter two results, meaning spring to just after the start of summer, July 1st. Now we can look going into third quarter where we're going to be off of those numbers. Canada is done. Done. There is no makeup for this. Our dollar officially dropped today, folks. Those results come in. Economics don't lie. Politicians do. All your premiers, your prime minister, this elbows up bullshit from all source premiers. The idea of succession from Alberta or Quebec is a fool's folly. You're not going to get it. You owe a tremendous amount of money, and you're not getting away from this. And no one's going to give you a free pass. Say, don't worry about it. Don't worry that you owe us half of that of which you owe your country. You owe to us. Oh, don't worry, we're going to give it to you. You're special. You're different compared to everybody else in the world. That Albertans and Quebecois in succession and independence still don't understand that you don't get it without them. Your country means sweet diddly do. And the numbers that are out today, exports down 27%. That should terrify all of you. You have no idea. All the USMCA compliance, everybody's scrambling. Canadian companies can scramble. It's not going to change the fact the American companies are moving on at a tremendous rate. USA dropped 5.1% of all source imports from Canada in the last quarter that's come and gone. You see, Canada, your lazy system reports late, much later than countries like the United States. Why? Because all source politicians take tremendous amount of holidays. They're never working for you. They're working for themselves. They're enjoying the high life. They're busy. They're on holidays. They're going around doing tours like rock stars, drugging it up, partying it up. Waste of skin, unqualified, low-life, degenerate losers. I told you this was all coming. I told you what was coming in the summer. And you know what? We're living in the fall. I already told you we've moved past the point of no return. That investment is gone. That change in Canada's exports to the United States is permanent. And if you haven't seen the results, for all you lunatics who are largely conservative, because I only have a few liberal trolls, NDP trolls at the present time, very few. They've moved on from me some time ago because they're watching the demise of the Democrats. If you're not paying attention in the last 7 days, contrary to all the leftist propaganda media, which is rightist media in Canada too, they're lying to you. And you're eating their loads of Crown propaganda by the boatloads. And we can see, for all those loyal to me, and I know you see, I've seen my last two posts, massive likes, shares, the viewership's just as high as ever. And there's burnt heartbreak feelings from those who identify as conservative in Canada. The bullshit conservative. What would be a rhino Republican, a phony baloney? All those folks, all butthurt, making stupid, ignorant, dumb comments that really are reflective of an institutionalized, the wanton, lie to me, tell me what I want to hear. Folks who still don't get it, your crown, especially here in Alberta or any province, doesn't matter. There are 0 provincial constitutions. Alberta and all its APP, Alberta Prosperity Project, where are the provincial constitutions? Number 1 in the list. Americans know this. If you're not cementing the rules of governance, what system Alberta wants to become, it means it's staying the same. An electoral autocracy, a constitutional monarchy, a crown dictatorship. That's not conservative, liberal, NDP. That's closer to communist or full-on military dictatorship. Worse than the Canadian model we have now that you all hate. Well, we hate Mark Carney. Well, we know. I know. I hate him too. But that does not change the fact your conservatives are the exact same, because in the same model system with no rules of governance, no rules on how to govern, 0 accountability, and in fact, no checks and balances, none whatsoever. No power to the people, no blueprint. What are we going to go into if we continue to push this Alberta succession, this sovereignty? You mean the crown sovereignty? You mean I'm going to lose Mark Carney, the dictator, for Daniel Smith or every future dictator in this electoral autocracy? Do you think USA's stupid, Democrat or Republican? And if you, again, folks don't know, millions have left the Democrat Party over the last week. Last 7 days, results are in. If blind Canadians can leave their crown propaganda British media system and go over to the United States, you'll find out that American media has been publishing heavily on this truth. And it doesn't matter favorite leftist media or favorite rightist media, we could say CNN or Fox News. The results are very clear when you look at all media in the United States. Democrats have fallen off in membership by the boatloads, the many millions. The millions the Republicans won by, the 3 million, the people say, oh, that's 1% of the total population. Whoopee-doo. Well, it's up to 3% now. And for those who don't know, that means in unmatched America, in 40 years, meaning we've never seen such a swing to one side of the political spectrum in the United States in the last almost 40 years. We're seeing a major swing. And when it comes to midterms, for those who don't know, because you don't know what democracy is, you don't live in one. How would you know? You don't live in one. In America, that's a real democracy. And when the pendulum swings in midterms, which is not presidential elections, folks, I know that's all we know in Canada, especially conservative. You're a dictator leader, prime minister, or premier, because outside of that, who gives a shit? It's your dictatorial leader, that autocrat, that centerpiece. Well, in America, it doesn't work like that. Checks and balances. Midterms is all about House and Senate. And we are watching 3 million more people register Republican and drop off of the Democrats. If you don't understand, because you don't know what real democracy is, or you don't understand democratic systems like the complicated United States of America, that bodes for super majority House and Senate. And if you don't know about checks and balances, constitutional amendments in the United States under a majority Senate and a majority Congress in the United States of America erases this 40-year barrier of constitutional amendments, meaning Republicans can get some seriously major constitutional amendments done in the United States of America. They've checked the balance. They've got it as of today over the last 7 days. For foolish Canadian conservatives, because that's largely who's commenting, I know, and I know the ignorance. Well, Trump's going to be out in 3 years. Oh yeah, so what? With a majority, supermajority Republican House and Senate, do you not understand, you foolish people, that America will change and draft massive legislation altering even their constitution that has seemingly been the hardest to amend, second only to the autocracy called Canada? That's about to change. Come this time, 2026, in midterms, you're going to see the major change. It is undeniable by the numbers, just like the numbers of economics from this last quarter. And if that's any indicator, we're going to watch a massive drop by quarter three. So many Canadians are going to be pissing their pants. And there's no Mark Carney, Pierre Poilievre, Danielle Smith, Doug Ford, Rob Keno. We go on and on to save you. No Scott Moe. There is no economic David Eby salvation to China. That's coming to an end. You haven't made up for your massive losses. And to understand what that means when you have a rapidly increasing deficit, which is huge accumulated public debt in this country, all sources, meaning provincial, federal, municipal, you're all screwed. And then it's the interest you have to pay, the downgraded credit rating, because we're about to face that. Just in Q2 numbers, we are facing a massive reduction in our credit rating, meaning provinces like Alberta, Ontario, and the federal government as a whole face massive interest rate increases in foreign debts to GDP. And if you don't know who holds the lion's share of that, it's the United States of America. By quarter three, so many are going to be going, ooh! And I hope, like I heard one comment, the Technicolor foolish idiots. We're sitting there, we're getting this, we're getting that, living in a fantasy. These are adult children living in a fantasy, especially in Alberta. You don't want to listen to any of the Americans. You don't want to listen to the Republicans. You certainly don't. And if you can't do that, and you say, no, we're entitled to this, we're doing this, this is going to happen, but yet everybody else in the world who attempted your cockamamie failed miserably. Failed miserably and were denied by the United States of America. Denied. Not only by the United States of America, the current sitting president of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. And if he's going to do that to countries that don't really have a huge investment of American resources and debt, where Americans are holding debt, and you think somehow as a Canadian or a province in Canada, they're just gonna, don't worry, do your thing. Who cares about all that? Do you see Donald J. Trump fighting per $1 billion, $100 million? He's fighting like a true businessman. Do you think he's just gonna go, oh yeah, don't worry, I crushed that other country back in 2017 for its cockamamie bullshit? But don't worry, you guys owe us a tremendous amount of money. It's different for you guys. I'm an asshole, Donald J. Trump. Don't worry, you're special. Alberta, Quebec, you're special. You're special. No, it's not going to happen. And you all need to learn that. And I know loyal friends and followers understand. But it's the phony baloney, mythical conservatives who've always been there, who believe in their socialist and fascist system, that somehow they're conservative. I'm right-leaning. Right-leaning. What is that? Oh, social conservative. Because we know damn well you're not physically conservative. Because if you were, today's announcement would make you piss your pants. You'd be screaming for republicanism. You'd be screaming for constitutional reform. You'd be screaming for provincial constitutions. You'd say, you know what? Enough's enough. This isn't funny anymore. This is a balance beam of going into a Great Depression. Because I promise you, 3 times more the numbers we see today. 3 times more. 3 times what's been published from Q2 that they've lied to you about, that they withheld from you about, promised you the world of greatness, where premiers have been lying to you, telling you that it's going to be so great. We just build this east to west trade system and we sell out to China, India, BRICS nations. You know, the countries Russia leads, as in one double talk, double face, double speak, double cross. They say, oh, we're going to fight Russia and all this. We're with Ukraine. Here's a bunch of money we don't have to Ukraine. Every premier taunts it, sponsors it, blah, 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 out about it. But yet, at the same time, you're wholeheartedly invested in transferring your trading system from USA, who you say is a piece of shit, your best friend, the only country that's taken care of Canada, long before Canada was even a country. When it was back to East and West provinces of the last of British North America. And they all cried, UK betrayed us, European Union betrayed us, help us. And USA says, okay, we'll give you a helping hand. It's why over 77% of everything we produce and manufacture goes north-south, meaning we go to the USA. It's been that way since 1848 because everybody else effed us over. It's never coming back, and it's never going to. You hate USA? You don't know the rest of the world or world history, because you know Canada has been fodder for all those countries forever and a day. And we still have a constitution that puts that as our head of state and our being and our foundation of what you call a country with its provinces and territories. But don't worry, those crown dictator politicians, provincially and federally, will make out like bandits. Every single party, don't worry, they're all multimillionaires. It only takes 3 or 4 years of office at the provincial and federal level. Don't worry, they're well taken care of. They have their lifeboats. They're going to be out of here. But you people, you're going to learn the Texas reality. Again, we're 0.4% off of a Great Depression. That's where we're at. And I can tell you, we're all already there as of the announcements 4 weeks ago, where I banged the alarm bell and I did that video. We're already there. But unfortunately, we're going to have to wait till November 15th to get those results where they go, oh no, we're in a Great Depression. And then Canadians piss their pants. And then they react, we got to go, Parliament's open for 3 weeks. The provincial legislature, it's been open for a week. After being shut down for 8 months, provincially and federally. I know Alberta, I released all that. Like they're doing it works out to I think 78 days. 78 days. Can you imagine any Canadian? I worked 78 days last year. 78 days. You think 5 days a week, you already hit 20 in 1 month. 3.5 months of work. Can you imagine? I worked 3.5 months this year. I've been on holidays. Right? That's the best case scenario. Best case. It's super sad. It's disgusting. It's wrong. Americans and their system, federally and stateside, that they're working hardcore. They get at most 8 weeks holidays. 8-week holidays. That includes all events, and most times they have to host local events in their area. Canadians don't want to see it, but the writing's on the wall, and this country's going down fast. And the sad part is we're already in a depression, a Great Depression here in Canada. We're already living it. Canadians just don't know. There's no budget. Don't worry, you don't need a budget, right? We'll budget after we have to announce the Great Depression of Canada. And if you think any of this investment, any of this trade with the United States is coming back, you're a fool. Not only is that gone, you're already living through a massive tripling effect. And when you do the numbers on exports, you triple that. Investment, 10%, you triple that, meaning a reduction of 40% over the quarter we're living in right now, that you'll find out in November. It's so sad. It's so pathetic. It's so scary, because I told you, do you think that's enough time? Honestly, Canadians, friends, followers, loyal to me, do you think it's really enough time to turn anything around come November, when I told you there's a due date of April 15th, 2026, November, January, February, March, April. And it's not even, because that'll be late stage November, and we're talking April 15th, tax time for Americans. So realistically, we're at 4.5 months. Do you think 4.5 months is enough time for the Canadian Parliament and the provinces to come up with massive constitutional reforms to be presented, changed, put through the people, passed to meet the needs of the United States and the changes that have to occur in this country, the accountability for all the provinces? Only an idiot would believe that's possible. Only an idiot would believe that. A foolish village idiot. A low IQ, know nothing, which is so many conservatives. I know, because they're posting comments all over my feeds, and they're angry like a left lunatic. And why? Because they're one and the same. They're as lunatic and ludicrous as the Liberals and NDP. Why? Because it's the reality of an institutionalized system in a constitutional monarchy, better known in the United States, published now for 2 straight years for anybody to look up. We are a registered electoral autocracy. And if you don't understand that, and that doesn't trip you, that says that you're really far gone. You're gone. And it means that Americans look at it, when this is a majority of Canadians, a mass majority of Canadians, never mind your views of left and right, when it comes to that point where you're just that dumbed down that you don't understand the scale of super autocracy versus we the people, and a government in check to the people, and you're slaved or subjugated under government, a zombie the biggest fear of every American, that they go to school and learn their whole lives. Never let your system get like that. And that's the average Canadian's belief, that that's a good thing, that it's normal. USA bad, China good. 12 years ago, Canadians didn't think like that. But that's what propaganda and institutionalization, generational, leads to. Complete idiocracy amongst the people who think that somehow a government beholden to itself is a great system. You're a fool. Believing that there's a conservative in Canada, or a liberal, or a green, or an NDP, or a vast majority of other party names is somehow indivisible by the crown electoral autocracy of supreme human beings subjugating a mass population. If you don't see that, and you don't see where USA is going and what USA is going to do to Canada, I don't know what to tell you. The economic results are in. And that's already come and gone, Q2, folks. We're almost, not quite halfway through Q3, but we're almost there. By the end of, well, yeah, what am I talking about? By the time September's finished, we're through it. One more month. We are over halfway through. It's scary. It's scary. And that damage is forever. And those who don't think it's forever, you don't know America. No Democrat or Republican will change it, especially if they landslide win, which all markers indicate a landslide majority, House and Senate, United States of America, midterms 2026. All things equal today. That's my video. Share, share, share. Undeniable reality. And I told you so. And even worse than that is the fact that it's over for us. It's already over. And I've told everybody that the damage is done. It's unrecoverable. Unless you have Canada the 51st state ASAP. But by April 15th, 2026, if that's not done, it's going to be a long, painful, third world existence. And I don't think 4.5 months is enough time. I don't. When you look at the history of California and Texas, who did it fast, these are the fastest. 1 year they were presenting their 51st state, their Enabling Act presentation according to the legislation acts presented to them by Congress of the time. And it took them 1 year. So you think that Canadians are going to panic by November and be able to get that done in 4.5 months? Not with the mindset. You need massive town halls. You need a massive focus. I think we're in for 10 years. I see you're there, Ben. I think Canada, you're in for a Texas reality. 10 years of hard third world pain. Suffering like no Canadian could ever imagine, way beyond the Great Depression. All those folks are no longer alive today. Way beyond that. Because we're only, again, 0.4%. You see that, Ben? 0.4%. Yeah. Even the Conservatives love their leaders to wield godlike powers. They say they can get things done. Exactly, Ben. It's sick. It's perverted. No American subscribes to that. When they read the comments, Ben, Americans, and I get PMs, and not only that, this delegation from New York, Ben, and we're going to have a video chat, and I don't want to stray too much from the video, but it's an important comment Ben laid down. They don't see it. Conservatives think that this godlike wielding power of an unaccountable government, a non-codified rules of governance system, is a great thing. That's not a conservative. That's a communist, extreme socialist, fascist, because we're a constitutional monarchy. If you don't know the term socialist, fascist, if you don't know that Nazi Germany or South Africa apartheid was the exact same model as Canada's constitutional monarchy, same definitions, different crown titles. Governor General versus Chancellor. Same definition. Operates an exact same monarchical system with Prime Minister, President, doesn't matter. Different nouns, same exact definitions because it's the same system. Exactly the same system, South Africa during apartheid. Those countries were obliterated by the United States of America and the other four allies. I know, I'm a conservative in Canada. I don't want to hear that history. Fuck you. No history. No history. Not important. Just like constitutions. Not important. My dictator told me, don't worry about that. You don't need that. Governments don't need to be accountable. We don't need a roadmap of governance and ruling systems to keep the politicians in check. We don't need any of that. They can spend all the money they want, print all the money they want. They can tax you to death. Who cares? We need an autocratic dictator to rule us, subjugate us, slave us. That's important. And that makes me conservative in Canada. Wow. As long as I have religion, how can you have religion when you subscribe to a divine elite human being? You can take your holy book and burn it. You might as well, because I promise you, all those holy books, I'll pick three. The Quran, the Holy Bible. We can go to the Jews. We can go to Old Testament. We can go through a multitude of their books. These are three religions. All of them tell you, don't do that. It's a cardinal sin. It's a breach of one of the 10 Commandments in all three of those holy books. All three of them. If you say I'm Christian, you've got that you can't give divinity to another human being. Otherwise, you're breaching God's highest laws. You're not religious. You're not on the right spectrum and I'm Christian or I'm Muslim or there's a multitude of religions here. I'm Judaist. We can go on and on. There's about 8. Never mind that there's a mass amount in the Christian world. Doesn't matter. It's all, once it's referenced to Old Testament or held by Old Testament or of Jesus Christ, Christian, you said you wouldn't do that, but yet you live in a country that does exactly that, and you participate. And if you go to your church, synagogue, temple, and you're praying on your Sunday or your Friday, or you're taking your prayer time, but yet you go on and you participate in that system, I'm sorry, you're not Christian, you're not Muslim, and you're not a Judaist, and a multitude of others. You're not. Because again, and if you subscribe to God and the rest of it, God doesn't help those who willingly sin. It's written right in those books. It tells you extremely, there's many stories in all those religions. Don't do that. That's a cardinal. Well, I'm doing it. I'm alt-right. I'm Christian, or I'm alt-right conservative. No, you're not. And you definitely don't believe in God because you're not following God's laws. And why? Because you don't even follow any laws. Because you don't have any. You don't have real constitutionalism. Never had. And yet, you can read these holy books and it warns you of this oldest stories that you got as a child. And yet you still don't want to face that truth. It's sick, it's depraved, it's wrong. That's my video, folks. Devastating, breaking. I went through a lot here. Share. Get it out there, because Americans, they know all this and they know you're sick. They know you're sick, and they're going to support their president and their House and Senate that soon, by next year, to be a massive majority where they're going to be making major laws, major changes they want to get done, and they're going to get it. The American people want to move that needle. And then you look out. 10 years of pain. That's what I see. I see a lesson learned like Texas. I see that that's going to be Canada. I didn't want that. I fought hard, but my voice is small. It doesn't get out there. There's a big crown wall blocker there, and people want to believe in the fiction, the fantasy. A divine ruler's going to save them, even though that's never happened ever in world history. There's no example of a divine savior politician. There isn't. Well, there's spiritual people, divine saviors, who've done some great things. But where's the divine politician who saved you and didn't fill their own pockets and utterly destroy a country or peoples or region or territory? The answer is 99.99 times out of 10,000, they destroyed it. But you're going to be different. It's different this time. It never ever worked, hardly ever, because it's never really worked. But it's going to work this time for us, even though 5,000 years of human history tells you it's never worked. That's my video. God bless. Enjoy your day. Bye now. Share. Get it out there.